This is in Compassion, and I have another person that I know. This is my Aunt Liz.
Hi.
How would you say that you learned compassion?
How did I learn compassion?
Was there like a person, an experience?
I think from a very young age, I think I learned compassion witnessing how my grandmother, who always seemed to be ill, pretty much always lived with us, and how my
Hmm.
mom would try to take care of her,
Hmm.
whether it was doing her medications or always having a place to live or running her to the hospital, just basically waiting on her hand and foot. Like,
Yeah.
some people wouldn't do that, but my mom had compassion.
Yeah,
And
and
so I
did
learned.
that like inspire you to do it later
Oh, yeah.
on? Hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And when was a time that you believe that you shared compassion with someone?
Actually, I feel like I share compassion because, like you said, compassion is it's not just empathizing with somebody, but it's actually reaching out and kind of going beyond and
Yeah.
actually reaching out and showing, expressing that care and concern. And I remember one of the first things I remember is when I started working and I had a job, and I must have been 18 or 19 years old, and I'd actually moved out of the house. We had not a very good situation, so I was already moved out of the house. But I remember seeing my mom
Hmm.
had such an old gas stove for cooking.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of money. I had a little income tax refund and I was working.
Hmm.
And she used to have to always like get on her knees and get down underneath the broiler to use matches. Back then, I didn't
Yeah.
have all these fancy lighters. And she would try to light the stove every time. And it was kind of dangerous and, to
Hmm.
get up underneath there. And so one day I just went to the store, and it was out of love and it was out
Yeah.
of compassion. I would say it's more than kindness, but I just felt compassion, like she deserves better than this,
Hmm.
and she's trying so hard and she does so many things for other people, that I wanted to do something nice for her, so I bought her a new stove. And she was so happy. You would have had to know my mom. She would make up jokes like she's happy and she's rapping, like, because back then it was rap in the 80s, right? I'm
Yeah.
rapping and my name is Myra and something or other, and I'm happy and I'm rapping because I have a new Tappan. And Tappan was the brand of the stove. So
And
it just made everybody feel good all the way around.
yeah, and in that
Yeah.
situation that you did want to reach out and help with that, what exactly was the main feeling that made you want to reach out for that? Like what really made you push it and to try to do that to help her? Was it the
Because
the fact that she had to work so hard to do it?
she had to work so hard and she was always so busy taking care of everybody else, and she didn't have an easy life either.
Hmm.
And I just thought that it would be something that would make her life easier.
Hmm.
And is that and to show her that I appreciated all that she did.
Yeah.
So,
And when was a time that you believe that you received compassion?
oh, there's been a lot of times I've received compassion, but one of the times that I can really feel like I received compassion is we woke up in the middle of the night,
Hmm.
and I was a young parent, and I had kids like, 6, 7, 8 years old,
Yeah.
and we had a house fire, and we
Hmm.
pretty much lost everything. And the neighbor across the street let us come and stay at their house for almost a week.
Hmm.
And we literally had no clothes. And so many people came out, so many church people came out. And we had ladies that they were quilting and they gave us blankets.
Hmm.
And that just felt so nice that somebody cared enough to give blankets and
Yeah.
uh, like gift certificates to go to Walmart, because we didn't even have any socks and it was
Yeah.
wintertime. So just the
And
thought that somebody cared enough to do that.
yeah. Was there a time that you believe that like you showed compassion and you probably shouldn't have, and why would you believe that?
Um, I can think of a specific time where I was involved in a church organization, and it was actually like a church ministry is like a motorcycle ministry. It's just
Yeah.
kind of a niche kind of a thing.
Hmm.
And I had compassion on another couple. They were older than my husband and I, and they didn't have a lot of money. Not that we did either, because we didn't. But they were coming to these motorcycle meetings, and they had a heart for people and for their Christian faith or whatever. But they didn't have a motorcycle. They couldn't afford
Yeah.
it, and so we gave them one.
Oh.
We just gave them a motorcycle. Now we could have had a few $1,000s for that, but we really felt that that was just something that would enrich their lives. They could go out and do the work and do the things and be a part of the group, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't have to feel left out, and
Hmm.
they could, like they had a real heart for it. But it wasn't very long after that that they sort of dropped out of the group, and then we saw that they were selling it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so maybe I wasn't really solving their problem. Maybe I was enabling them, or maybe
Mhm.
if they, where I thought I was being kind and compassionate, but maybe I was being taken advantage of.
Maybe.
But, I guess that's part of compassion is you don't expect something back.
Mhm.
But maybe that's a time where I stepped up and gave something that maybe it didn't really mean what I thought it would.
Yeah. And out of any experience, is there any time that you wish that you could have shown compassion but you didn't or you weren't able to?
Oh, I see so many people even now when I'm going grocery shopping,
Mhm.
whether they're ringing the bell on the holidays for the Salvation Army and I just don't have any cash to put in it, or you see people that they're literally just parked in the parking lot and they're living there. And if
Mhm.
I had some way to help somebody to not be homeless, to not just give them $1, but to give them a place to live, it would be so nice to be like, here a few $100, go spend the night in
Mhm.
a hotel. But
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do something like that. But
Yeah.
you see people and they're hurting and it's not that you don't have a heart to give, but you just don't know what to give.
Mhm. And with experiences of compassion, which one would you say is the most meaningful? Like the one that has like motivated you to keep being compassionate?
Mm, where someone has done something for me.
Yeah.
There was a time where my husband and I were in a motorcycle accident
Mhm.
and he had a traumatic brain injury.
Mhm.
He spent months in a rehabilitation hospital, and there was a period of time for almost 3 months where I couldn't work.
Mhm.
And the organization that we were involved in threw a big spaghetti dinner for us. And they raised enough money that they would just give me checks and pay my bills
Mhm.
because I couldn't work because I had to stay home to take care of my husband who couldn't be left alone. So
Okay.
it makes me feel like there's real love and goodness in the world, and it makes me
Mhm.
want to do the same.
Yeah. And with compassionate experiences, was there any of them that you like regretted, like that you feel like you could have done more or that you hadn't like that you shouldn't have once again?
Mm. Like another example.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, let's narrow that down. Which one is it? Like I should have done more or shouldn't have done something at all?
It's just with any of them that you feel like if you could do it again now, is there any of them that you would do differently?
Um, gosh, I'm sure there is, but I
It's all
can't
right. We
think
could
of
we could
it.
we could
Yeah,
keep it
I
going.
can't think.
And what do you do to make sure that you remain compassionate and that you're making sure that you're doing it for yourself and for others?
I always try to be mindful of the people that are
Yeah.
around me, whether it's people at work, people that are having a bad day.
Hmm.
We all get stressed out at times, and I always try to put myself in another person's place, which I realize
Hmm.
is empathy. But as far as compassion, like
Yeah.
if somebody at work, even if it's just like the littlest thing, like here, let me, like I work in manufacturing, here, let me build this little part for you, or let me make these boxes for you
Hmm.
because you're already busy enough, and that'll free you up from having to worry about something. So if there's a little task or something that I can do that can make your day a little better, then you will all have a better day, right?
Yeah. So
So,
you'd say like that connecting and understanding other people is mainly what you like focusing on.
yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
never know what somebody is thinking or what they're going through. We all have things in life. Like I didn't realize that one of the people that I work with, his brother,
Hmm.
was ODing on drugs and he woke up out of a coma and thinks he's 10 years old again. I mean, I didn't know that that was happening. I could see that my coworker was struggling and I could see that he was having a hard time. And then finally he did open up to me, but I did everything that I could to like ease the burden of what his job was
Yeah.
so he could just get through the day and have less stress,
Yeah.
so
And who would you say needs compassion the most in the world? And what do you think that we could do to alleviate that and to try to reach out?
oh, everybody needs
Yeah.
compassion. It's so hard to narrow it down. I think about children
Hmm.
who are stuck in situations that they don't even understand. They really need compassion. They need somebody to be their advocate. I also think about elderly people who maybe their families can't take care of them anymore, or maybe
Hmm.
they have illnesses and they're in nursing homes and nobody goes to visit them or to reach out to help them to know that they're still valuable and
Hmm.
they're still loved, and that they mean something. they make a difference in the world just because they exist. And I think sometimes people need to hear that somebody else really does care.
Would you say that like some people are like taught to just like not acknowledge that and they just don't really know like about compassion because of the fact that like they're being
I
held back?
I think that if a child grows up never experiencing compassion, if they grow up with a parent who's cold or maybe a parent who doesn't know how to show compassion, I think if you haven't seen it or felt it or witnessed it, maybe you never learn how to express that.
And then would you say that it's important to their for like teach it to them and to help them understand
Oh,
it?
definitely.
Hmm.
Definitely, because otherwise, how are they going to know and feel it if you don't show it? You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there any words about compassion that you'd say that you're wise enough about that you could say and like any like advice that you'd give about compassion?
I think for me, true compassion is when you can reach out and do something for another human being. You put yourself in their shoes, but yet you do it like we all have a lens that we see through. I know,
Hmm.
and even in
Yeah.
psychology, they talk about we have different lenses, right? Of how you view the world. And I think true compassion is when you can just take off, if you could strip away that bias,
Hmm.
strip away that lens of because we all are affected by our culture. We all are affected by how we grew up or who we know or where we go. But if you can strip all that away and just see the other person as a person with no judgment, I think it's so much easier to feel real compassion because you're not judging them. So I think true compassion is a lack of harsher judgment, like
Yeah.
just to accept the person, accept who they are, accept who you are. And I think in that regard, you can show a greater level of compassion because
Mhm.
it's like having no expectation that you're going to get something back in
Yeah.
return or that they have to behave a certain way just because you showed that compassion.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense,
Oh,
but
it was really good.
oh,
And that will be all. Thank you.
thanks.